Hello, juicers. This is Edward at Spirit Juice No Additive. Thank you for tuning in to another um, episode. And like, share, and subscribe. Especially this video because I'm going to be talking about the reality of mental health and the importance to treat mental health in order to yield a more positive existence here in this evil world. Um, I been very honest about my mental health issues. Started self medicating when I was 21. Um, I went through a very traumatic first 13 years of my life. I was molested by male babysitters, three of them brothers. I was born into a very violent domestic abuse situation with my mom and my dad. Then I started school and I was teased, set apart from, alienated because of my feminine tendencies. So it ain't something that just developed overnight or since I came out as a gay person. I've always had mannerisms that alluded to the fact that I might be gay. And I wasn't bullied to the extent where it was physical abuse. A couple of times it was, but nothing significant. But I was the last to be picked on the softball team. My goodness, people just didn't want to interact with me because of mainly because of how they show up or how they're looked upon because of their association with me. Um, and then also too, it's something that people don't they scoff at things that they don't understand. So back when I was growing up, being gay was not popular or remotely anything that you want to associate yourself with. But my dad left the home when I was four turning five, or was I three turning four? I was three turning four because I remember my brother started school at the end of that summer that he left, and I was very emotionally torn about being by myself because we only a year apart. We were raised like twins, and all of a sudden he's going to school and I'm staying home. So I took it very hard. Um, but even more so than that, I took hard the fact that my dad was leaving because I was closer to my dad than my mom is, and we don't give homage to that dynamic when we decide to separate as married people, married adults. You know, we don't take in consideration how the child feels and making the necessary preparation so that the child can adjust, you know, to the major change. It's just like a death. That's how I felt. I was like, my father was communicating with me, telling me that he was going to stay in my life and we'll see each other. But for some reason, at the age of three, turning four, I knew that wouldn't be the case. I knew that I wouldn't see him as much. I knew that he was leaving my life and not knowing when I'll see him again. So it was like a death. Um, I also I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 years ago. But when I received this diagnosis, my whole life made sense. In that, I can see the patterns and the symptoms associated with bipolar manifesting in my life as early as 2 or 3 years old. And some people might doubt that I remember back to turning three, four. Yes, I do. I remember everything. My mom calls me an elephant. You know, she's like, you remember everything. But the behaviors that I was exhibiting as a child was indicative of being bipolar. I would have very high highs and extremely low lows. And it was just all that I can do to remain in my skin and be comfortable, you know. And it didn't make it any better that I had experienced all these negative, heinous acts and experiences. Uh, I say all of this to say that my mental health suffered for a majority of my life. And growing up as an African American in a Black culture, we really are not too keen on mental health. I mean, to associate yourself with mental health or be um, determined or assessed to have mental health, people take that as in the African American culture of you being crazy. They don't look at the fact that it could be depression, it can be anxiety, it could be personality disorder, it can be just any number of mental health issues that's going on. And it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. And also, too, this is so contradictory of the experience that African Americans have had in America since day one, that we have experienced slavery, civil rights movement. We were raised, a majority of us, by hurt people. Only a few, a minority of people rose to the occasion and rolled past the experiences. But we come from a people that's been oppressed in a very heinous way in our African American culture. So we have to know that there are residual effects to our psyche because of the history, even if you never experienced oppression or never experienced being oppressed and being brutalized, you were raised by people that fully was aware that we were inferior and that we suffered because of that inferiority. We have got to get on board with mental health because we very judgmental when we look at people that smoke, drink, do drugs, beat their wives, womanize, be in abusive relationships. We view this as a weakness, and opposed to it might have everything to do with mental health. In the majority of our populations, we are at the top of the disparities. Incarceration, deviant behavior, um, mental health, chemical health, um, just homelessness, just any amount of disparities, you name it, we on top of it. We are the number one targeted population for disparities. So we have to ask ourselves why. Are we inferior? Are we really inferior to white people? No, we're not. We just have more trauma than white people. And we do not take the opportunity to be aware of our mental capacities and the effect that our experience in America has had on us. We are taught that time heals all wounds, and we believe in that strongly because we act as though and live our lives as though mental health is not a component of our deviant behavior. Now, some people drink socially, some people use drugs socially, some people do things in moderation, whereas other people just go to drink to get drunk, to do drugs so they can be oblivious of oneself and not be in your skin, in your head, you know, in your very existence. So it's very, very important to not judge and really be sincere when we say, hey, have you checked the list off, mental health off the list of things that can be wrong in your life? So many of our family and friends, the people that we love, suffer from mental health, and we wonder why they are just not doing as well as we think they should be, or they're doing less than everybody else. And that has a lot to do with being sincere and really looking at who the person is and not judging them, and just trust that there's work to be done to bring this person along, and be an advocate, be encourage that, support that effort, and not be a part of what's wrong. I was just talking to my spouse about mental health. My son has a extreme end of ADHD. He's on the extreme end of the continuum. Whereas if he don't have medication, he finds it hard to be in his own skin. He paces back and forth. He says he's bored, he's agitated, and he's not productive and focused. But we had him on medication. This is just an example. We had him on medication growing up, ADHD medication, and a lot of parents have received notifications from schools, because who better can judge your child's behaviors than their teachers that spend so much time with them throughout the day. Some of them are more at school more than they are at home. So why not give homage to what they are observing, with kids, behaviors, and the consistency of certain symptoms associated with ADHD. So my son was diagnosed, and then when he got about 12, 13, he stopped taking the medication. And he started self-medicating with weed and then ultimately alcohol. He has, he's adopted. He has in his family addictive parents that were addicted to crack in that whole area. And so it's very scary for me as his parent, to really face the realization that if he doesn't get his mental health in check and start addressing this issue, that he might end up a statistic in prison, in an institution somewhere, or dead. People, this is very serious. Very serious. As long as I have this platform, I am going to address issues concerning mental health, because we wonder why we're not enjoying a better quality of life, and that we are our worst enemies. We are the stumbling blocks, that we sabotage our happiness, but we insist that we're not happy and that we desire happiness. If you truly want a better quality of life and to be happy in your life, or see a measure of success and functionality, then get tested. Get tested. Get assessed. And then you have a decision to make. You don't automatically have to take medication, but you can get a therapist, a psychiatrist. You can, know it's knowing what's going on in your body and why you have certain behaviors. It goes a long way to working on it and regulating self-discipline. And who don't want to know more about themselves and why they do things and make certain decisions in their life? A lot of people make decisions because they don't want to make decisions. Making decisions in itself acerbate or perpetuate mental health. We can be exposed to what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we allow ourselves to listen to. And that can be traumatic. That's why it pays to mind your own business and focus on self and work on self and be proactive about yielding a better you. I hope this message is shared immensely, because we need it in our Black community. We need to show that we support people that are willing to work on their mental health, so that they can enjoy a better quality of life, so they can be better fathers and mothers and friends. Oh my God, it's just, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Hit that notification bell so that you can be abreast of all our current posts. I bid you a great day, and holla.